First of all, team news, how's the squad looking fitness-wise and injury-wise?
Pretty good, no different to most weeks. We picked up a few bumps and bruises, the guys will assess over the course of the week. But on the whole, if you look at it as a larger group, the numbers we're getting back to fitness is improving. You know, I suppose there's even really the outside possibility of us being almost, obviously depending on what injuries we pick up, almost being at full strength right by the end of the season if we do manage to progress to the later rounds.
Which would be, I wouldn't say unheard of, but hey, it's not very often that everyone's fit come the end of the season in any sport, is it?
No, that's right. I mean, obviously, like I say, it does depend on a little bit of luck over these final 3 rounds, and obviously depends on the guys we've got in rehab at the moment coming through, and the guys who picked up some bangs at the weekend, those turn out to be not too serious, which is obviously what we're hoping at this stage. So things are looking good. I think at the moment it's probably a bit too early to talk about guys on a week-by-week basis, and more just talking about the overall strength of the group as a whole, which looks pretty good.
When you look at a fixture like this, a bottom of the table side, you guys need just 2 points to secure a home semi-final. From the outside looking in, the temptation would be perhaps to rest some players knowing what is likely to be round the corner in kind of 2, 3, 4 weeks' time. But then on the other hand, for the integrity of the competition, because London Irish can still stay up, you would possibly be looked at to play a good side. Is that a quandary that you face this week?
No, not at all. We haven't even considered the integrity of the competition, or we actually haven't even talked about the number of points we need to collect. The only thing I focused on with the players, and I reiterated it again today before training, is that actually we've got 3 games. We've got a semi-final. Obviously, we want to get a home semi-final for obvious reasons. But actually, in a way, the more important thing is the players using every training session, every game, to challenge themselves. Because ultimately the players and the team that's going to be capable of winning semi-finals and finals, because they're going to be big games against good sides, they're going to be groups of players who are used to performing right at the high end of their capabilities. And for me, you know, and I've even said this to the guys, I'm not actually looking at the results against London Irish, but I will be looking at their commitment to the game, how much intensity they bring to their individual and collective performance, and we'll have a really good look at the actual technical stats we get out of the game as well. So, you know, how hard we've been prepared to work, how hard we've been prepared to push our heart rates, how quick and how far we've been prepared to run. And I think those are the elements that I'm expecting to see the guys test themselves. I'm expecting them to go out there and go, right, this is my opportunity to maximise a full 80 minutes and make sure that I'm the kind of guy who's bang on form for what could be a 100-minute final. Because that's how you've got to prepare. You know, you don't start resting up and relaxing now. You actually start driving yourself towards the end stages of where you're capable of playing as a player. And the best way to practice that is to do it on a Saturday.
Indeed, and that puts a lot of pressure on you as a coach, doesn't it? Because A, you have to give people the opportunity to impress you, both in training and in games as well. And B, it may well be fine margins you deciding between player A or player B.
Exactly, it will come down to fine margins, and that's why when you pick a side, those guys have got the shirt and they've got the opportunity to impress you first. Having said that, you know, the guys are in front of you at every training session. You know, we will make changes week by week. We did that at the end of last season, but the changes will be made for the right reasons. So we won't drive people out there who aren't fit to perform well for us, and we won't. But at the same time, we won't make changes just to give someone an opportunity out of nowhere. You know, everything will be done with an eye on us actually peaking through the course of these 3 games, but part of how you peak is that you perform very well. It's not that you rest in 1 week and you go hard in the next week. What you have to do is get yourself very comfortable at playing at a very high intensity. It's great that the weather's warming up now and the pitches are firming up, because percentage wise, the final or the semi-final, they're unlikely to get played on wet muddy pitches on wet windy days, you know, because of the time of year. So you actually have to use every one of these minutes we can to practice playing at the level we want to play at, and that's what I'm expecting from the London Irish game. I haven't set the players a target on what points we expect to score. I haven't set the players a target on how many tries we expect to score. I haven't set the players a target on the points we want to collect from the game, but I have set them some targets on how hard and how intensely I expect them to play. From
your point of view, planning obviously towards next season is going on. You've made some signings already. How close are you to having what you would consider to be the set of players that you want going into next season?
Very close. You know, we're probably within 1 or 2 contract signings of being finalised now. So, you know, we're pretty comfortable where we stand. We've already got a good group of players. We're very much keeping that group intact. We've got a lot of young players who are improving with game time, and we've got 1 or 2 guys who will be bringing in just to improve the strength of the group. But you know, you're not going to see us make 5 signings and radically try and alter the way we play or the way we see the shape of the side. We're pretty comfortable, like I say, what we've got here. We're still seeing a lot of improvement in the players we have here, and as I said, you know, we haven't completely announced everybody, but we're very close to being there.
Looking at London Irish last week against Quins made a few mistakes, but Irish were very impressive, especially, you know, playing the ball out the backs and scoring 3 very early tries. That must kind of, they're not just kind of the whipping boys that, you know, say London Welsh were a few seasons ago. They are going to provide a proper test, aren't they?
Well, definitely. I mean, I think probably the biggest stat coming out from their recent games is how quickly they've started games. You know, they've got out the blocks, they've scored points. They have been hauled back on some occasions, on other occasions they haven't. And I think that's a really good message for us to take into the game, that we need to be focused right from the start. We probably weren't quite at the level we need to be against Gloucester, and we could have paid the price by conceding a try, and we want to avoid that at all costs. But again, that's a really good reminder that the Premiership sides are good, and you have to earn every point you can get. Going away from home is tough, but as I said, these are good reminders that we've spoken about this week. The recent scores from London Irish, they only serve to help us understand the level we've got to perform at.